Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's first video, doing European Outlook for today's first video. So as always, on a Thursday, we're having a look at the weather next week, 10 days in detail across Northern Europe, and I shall get on that for you very shortly. The 10 to 14 day video update will be coming up later on today. That will include all our regular features, and so I shall see you later on. For that one. These European Outlooks are YouTube exclusives, so if you want to be notified when we are releasing these every Thursday, you will need to subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to click all notifications, then YouTube will tell you when we are releasing these videos. Thank you so much, everybody, for doing that. Right, so this situation across Europe today, basically we've got a battle going on between high pressure across western Russia, that's a Siberian high sending a ridge into Scandinavia, just here, with low pressure out in the Atlantic and a fairly vigorous jet stream. These two conflicting air masses are coming up against one another, and so a battle is currently going on for ascendancy between the low pressure in the Atlantic and the Siberian high. In terms of weather, it means that for much of northern and northeastern Europe, it's pretty cold, close to this ridge of high pressure. Out in the west, we've got wet and windy weather sweeping in from off the Atlantic Ocean. Here's our upper air temperatures. They don't look particularly cold in the north and northeast. It's a lot colder under that anticyclone on the surface. Out in western Europe, it's a little bit milder through the west, and again, much of the Mediterranean looking quite mild with the upper air temperatures today. Lots of heavy showers, thunderstorms, and longer spells of rain through the Med, right away from like Spain and Portugal in the west, all the way over to Greece and Turkey in the east. Loads of wet weather through the Med today. Going further northwards, there's a lot of dry weather from like the middle of France right way up to west of Russia. A little bit of rain, sleet and snow over the Scandinavian peninsula. And then coming down into the UK and Ireland, we find the next batch of wet and windy weather sweeping in from off the Atlantic. It's cold in the north and the northeast today. So, very cold across much of Scandinavia and northeast Europe and western parts of Russia as well, under that big area of high pressure, down on the surface. Even if the upper air temperatures aren't particularly cold, down on the surface, it really is bitterly cold in the northeast of Europe. Going further westwards and southwards, it does get milder, but it's still pretty chilly, actually, even into the west of Europe. It's only like for Ireland and west of France and down Spain and Portugal, and then through like the Med, that the temperature is a little bit milder through there today. Tomorrow, low pressure will be dominating across the west of Europe and pushing eastwards as well, but the high pressure is still there to the north and to the northeast of Europe. Upper air temperatures look like that, so mild across the west and again coming through the Mediterranean. Even in the north, where it is pretty cold in the north and the northeast on the surface, the upper air temperatures actually are quite mild, to be honest. In terms of precipitation, so we've got heavy rain moving from Ireland, the UK and France in towards the Low Countries and western parts of Germany. More heavy showers and thunderstorms through much of the Mediterranean and extending over towards Greece as well. So like from the east of Med all the way over to west of Med, generally lots of heavy showers and thunderstorms to come. Going further northwards, we pick up some more snow flurries anyway. Probably most of it is light across parts of Scandinavia and going through the Baltic Sea into the northeast of Europe. Temperatures tomorrow are looking like that, so again very cold across much of northern and northeastern Europe, pegged back at or below freezing through most areas. Despite the fact that the upper air temperatures are reasonably mild, it is much colder on the surface. Going further southwards and westwards, again it's pretty cold as we go through Germany and Poland, Denmark. Those areas are looking pretty chilly. Out in west it is milder there, becoming milder for Ireland, the UK through France, and again down Spain and Portugal. And most parts of the bed look reasonably mild tomorrow. That Saturday, the battle continues. High pressure is still across west of Russia, sending a ridge into Scandinavia. Low pressure, again, is coming in from off the Atlantic, trying to bring more bouts of wet weather. And these low pressure are getting to sort of western, almost Central Europe, but really to Western Europe, and they are sort of grind to a halt as they come up against this big area of high pressure. Some of the energy is going down into the Med with jet stream, and that's why it is quite an unsettled scene through the Mediterranean. Upper air temperatures look pretty mild across most parts parts of Europe on Saturday. We've got that first area of wet weather beginning to peter out really across the Low Countries, eastern France and western and southern Germany, but coming down to Mediterranean, still lots of heavy showers and thunderstorms, particularly through the central bowl of the Med and going over into that southeastern corner of Med. And then a few snow flurries across Scandinavia and going back through the Baltic Sea into west of Russia. It is cold in the north and the northeast of Europe, bitterly cold up there under that big area of high pressure. Going further southwards and westwards, it gets progressively milder, particularly across southern parts of Europe. That's Sunday. The battle goes on. The next area of low pressure will bring wet and windy weather back into Ireland and the UK, but the ridge to the north and northeast still continue to hold its ground. So still remain mostly dry but cold in the far north and the northeast Europe. Maybe starting to turn colder and more unsettled in this southeastern part of Europe as well. Although the upper air temperatures are looking again pretty mild across most parts of Europe, especially so out in the west, where we've got this big area of low pressure in the Atlantic, bringing wet and windy weather into Ireland and the UK. So we do get a push of quite mild air actually on Sunday up the western side of Europe. Precipitation wise, so really big showers and thunderstorms in the southeastern part of the Mediterranean, so like from the Black Sea down to Turkey and Greece. Heavy showers and thunderstorms through there. Otherwise, a lot of dry weather to come on Sunday through like the southwest of Europe up to the northeast. Will be some snow flurries around again across the north and the northeast of Europe. And then, of course, it turns wet and windy across Ireland and the UK with that vigorous area of low pressure in the Atlantic Ocean. Cold for the north and the northeast of Europe with the surface temperatures. Yes, going to be very cold up there under that area of high pressure. Pretty chilly, really, from like Germany eastwards. The west of Europe will be milder though through there. Right, that's Monday. Low pressure continues to be to the northwest of the UK and Ireland. It will bring further strong winds, maybe gale force winds, and heavy rain to the west of Europe. It looks like the high pressure to the northeast is just beginning to lose ground a little bit on Monday, as this low pressure is trying to force its way eastwards. So the upper air temperatures are looking mild for west of Europe, and those milder upper air temperatures begin to extend eastwards as well, heading over in towards Germany, for example. Still cold across Scandinavia and northeast Europe, although the upper air temperatures aren't particularly cold, but it will still be cold on the surface. And then into the Mediterranean, it looks relatively mild or even quite warm through there. Precipitation wise, wet and windy out in the west, outbreaks of rain extending through like Spain and Portugal right the way up towards southwestern Norway. UK, Ireland and France will have spells of rain as well. Further eastwards, going to be a lot of dry weather through central, northern and eastern Europe. Heavy showers and thunderstorms from Black Sea down into Turkey. Temperatures looking cold for the north and the northeast of Europe, though maybe not quite as cold on Monday as they have been over the weekend. Nevertheless, still quite cold in the north and the northeast. Otherwise, it gets a little bit milder in West Europe and again through some parts of the Med. That's Tuesday. The battle goes on. Low pressure is still in the Atlantic, bringing further wet and windy weather into the west of Europe. Showers, long spells of rain. High pressure looks like it is losing ground a little bit, though, next week in the northeastern part of Europe. That now means milder upper air temperatures to begin to extend northwards a little bit through to southern parts of Scandinavia. Anyway, so probably coming a little bit milder across Scandinavia early next week. Generally quite a mild scene, really, across most parts of Europe. Precipitation-wise, most northern and eastern parts of Europe will be dry. Out in the west, it looks much more unsettled with heavy showers and longer spells of rain. And again, becomes some big thunderstorms like through the central part of Mediterranean and also into Spain and Portugal as well, perhaps on Tuesday. Temperatures look like that. So still cold in the north and the northeast of Europe, but maybe becoming a little bit less cold, especially across some parts of southern Scandinavia, so like Denmark, southern Sweden, might be starting to get a little bit milder through there. Generally, the northeast is cold though, and the west is a little bit milder. Most of the bed, of course, looks pretty mild. That's Wednesday. So at this point, it looks like low pressure is beginning to lose ground a little bit across the west. The low pressure starting to weaken. The high pressure is still there to the far north and northeast of Europe, and we're still drawing up like a mildish or a mild southerly wind through central west parts of Europe. Upper air temperatures are looking like this. So again, most parts of Europe looking quite mild, becoming a little bit cooler for Ireland and the UK and France, as those mildest upper air temperatures sort of pushed a bit further eastwards. Coldest upper air temperature in the far north Scandinavia, but there, I mean, even there, they're well above average, really, with the upper air temperatures. That doesn't tell you anything that's going on the surface, of course, at this time of the year. Precipitation-wise, lots of heavy showers and thunderstorms through central and western parts of the Med, drier over on the eastern side of the Med, not as much rain across Western Europe on Wednesday. Those low pressure beginning to lose their intensity, so begin to go a little bit drier through France into Ireland and the UK. Most other areas are actually looking pretty dry on Wednesday. The coldest surface temperatures being pushed back in towards the west of Russia. So there's a little bit of a warming trend going on here across northern and northeast Europe through the early and middle part of next week. It's still cold. I mean, it's winter in Scandinavia, so it'll still be quite cold. But the coldest of the upper air temperatures are being pushed further northwards and eastwards through the early and middle part of next week. Out in the west, actually, it does cool down a little bit across Ireland, the UK, and France as well. And then that takes us through into Thursday, when again we've got so we're between sort of high pressure, low pressure across Western Europe. Then we've got this big area of low pressure winding itself up in the middle of the North Atlantic, still with a ridge across northern and east parts of Europe, and still generally drawing up those southerly winds through central and eastern regions. The upper air temperatures on Thursday are looking like this, generally quite mild through most central and eastern parts of the Med and Europe, and the Med as well, I should say. And then out in the northwest, a little bit cooler through there on Thursday. Precipitation-wise, quite a bit of dry weather. The next batch of wet and windy weather is just lurking to the west of Ireland, but really much of northern Europe looking drier through Thursday. Coming down into the Med, there's heavy showers and thunderstorms through Italy and then on into the central bowl of the Mediterranean. And the temperatures look like that, sub-temperatures look like that. So coldest in the north and the northeast, mildest across southern and southwestern parts of Europe. And then we go on into Friday and up towards day 10. And basically the battle continues, really. So this is through to Saturday, 19th of December, with low pressure again in the west coming up against this area of high pressure, or a ridge of high pressure to the northeast. And that's how long as we get to Sunday 20th of December, which of course is day 10. It looks like we're trying to build up the Scandinavian high, but an actual Scandinavian high is trying to get going. So still the battle goes on between high pressure to the north and the northeast and low pressure in the Atlantic. And of course that battle is going to determine what happens like in the days after day 10, which takes us up to and over Christmas. We'll know more next week. Right, so that's it for the European Outlook. We're going to be back later on your 10 to 14 day update, including all our break features. Come back for that then. That's all for now, and thanks for watching.